So we're conducting an inspection on a 8-year-old roof out here in Lancaster, South Carolina. We've seen damage on a 5-year roof all the way up to obviously a 30-year-old roof. But here you can see we're dealing with an architectural shingle, which is generally your stronger shingle. It's definitely going to be more protective against your hail and wind damages. But we can see out here in Lancaster that the hail that fell actually did a number on these stronger shingles. And so it's a great opportunity to get a claim filed with your insurance and get them to pay for a brand new roof.
All right, what I'm doing is going around the elevations. I do the front, the back, the left, and the right. I'm looking for any kind of collateral that may have damaged other things besides the shingles themselves. I check any of the soft metals, like gutters, looking for dings. I check the garage door. A lot of times, this trim work is covered with an aluminum trim coil, and it'll show damage as well. This one is actually hardy board trim, so it shouldn't have any kind of damage. It may have some paint sometimes, but I'm not. These downspouts are 2x3s. They're a little smaller, which also makes them a little more ridges than the standard industry, which is a 3x4 downspout. A lot of times, check even the power meter box. No, it will not have damage, but sometimes there'll be hail splatter on it that shows signs where it busts the algae loose when the hail hits it. I check window screens, any kind of the trim work around it to see if there's any kind of dents in them. Anything I can tell to where there was evidence of hail that hit, but necessarily may not have damaged it. A big key factor is a lot of times I look, if you have a driveway that's got a lot of tree cover, there's a lot of algae on the ground, and you'll look and see where a lot of the splatter has hit the ground and it will bust the algae loose. And it'll give you a good indicator also about how large the hail is you're looking for, the intensity of it, and give you a lot of backstory before you even look at the shingles. Here's a good example of some hail damage that has damaged the screen. I come over here and I'm not necessarily looking for holes because a lot of the hail that comes and hits a house is directional. This right here, you see it does have a big spot on it, but it also is directional and there's a line behind it. So I'll mark these areas right here with sidewalk chalk just as an indicator. Say when we meet the adjuster out here, it says, hey, you know, pay it or keep a close eye out for some collateral that is easily missed. There's some right here, and they won't necessarily. I've seen them worse when they're old screens. They'll be completely shredded, but a lot of times you'll see stuff where it's just breaks in the what do you call that? I guess in the pattern that shows that it was struck by something. The older the storms or the older the screens, they are a little more susceptible. They get a little softer. They lose a lot of their coating because a lot of them are fiberglass coated or some of them are aluminum, and they've got a black, really light coat of paint over them. And once that starts to deteriorate, that's where you get the silver shine to them. And it is a lot easier for them to get damaged that way. Another thing that's really good to point out is I kind of like to look for collateral that is above the waistline on gutter downspouts. There's one right here that does look like a really good hail dent on it, but as my typical rule of thumb, if it's below the waistline, chances are they're a lot more susceptible to getting hit by a rake, a shovel, a weed eater, a rock from a lawnmower. Anything like that could cause mechanical damage to it that can look like storm damage. This has been replaced.
And I'm definitely seeing some brittle shingles with hail damage.
I was going to show you the difference between a new screen and an older screen. This one is brand new. It's been replaced. This one has not, and you see how you can see the reflection of the sun due to the coating coming off of the fiberglass. A helpful thing when you're checking soft metals also, if there's fascia wrap, siding, window trim, stuff like that. I don't have it with me because these are smaller downspouts, but certain lighting, you can hold a flashlight up to it and it'll show you the dimples. Air handler patch units are also a good indicator. If there's algae on top of them, you'll have a lot of splatter marks on there. It's not damaged, it just shows that the hail was here.